If the media is a source of inaccuracies and even lies, then how do we find the truth?
I don't regard the media as a source of inaccuracies and lies. They do exist, but by and large, media reporting is reasonably accurate. Reporters, the journalists themselves, as in the past, do courageous, honest work. Uh, I've written about this for 50 years. My opinion hasn't changed. Uh, but they do pick certain things and not other things. There's selection, there's framing, there's ways of presenting things. Uh, all of that forms a kind of propaganda system, which you have to work your way through. But it's rarely a matter of straight outright lying.
So there's a difference between propaganda and lying.
Of course, a propaganda system shapes and limits the material that's presented. It may tell the truth within that framework. So let me give you a concrete example, which I wrote about extensively. Uh, I have a book called Manufacturing Consent, jointly with Edward Herman. It's about his term, which I had accepted, a propaganda model of the media. A large part of the book is defense of the media, defense of the media against harsh attacks by Freedom House, several volumes they published attacking the media, charging that the media were so adversarial and dishonest that they lost the war in Vietnam. Well, I took the trouble of reading through the two volumes. One volume is charges, the next volume is evidence. Turns out that all of the evidence is lies. They had no evidence. They were just lying. The media, in fact, the journalists were doing an honest, courageous work, but within a certain framework, a framework of assuming that the American cause was basically just, basically honorable, making mistakes, doing bad things, but the idea of questioning that the United States was engaged in a major war crime. That's off the record. So unfortunately, there was this crime and that crime, which uh, harmed their effort to do good and so on. Well, that's not lying, it's propaganda.
So how do we find the truth?
How do we find the truth? That's what you have a brain for. It's not deep, it's quite shallow. It's not quantum physics. Put a little effort into it. Think about, look for other sources. Think a little about history. Look at the documentary record. Uh, it all pretty well falls together and you can get a reasonable understanding of what's happening.